G'day guys, Aaron here, and today we're here to talk about beginner guitar lessons. So there's a few things that as a guitar teacher I like to show people for their first at least lesson or two. And some of those things are just obviously your basics. How many strings the guitar has, which one's the first string, and then eventually getting into playing some scales to get your hands synchronized and working together. So the first thing that you'd want to do is get yourself a guitar from a guitar shop. If you want to make a purchase off eBay for your first guitar, I will say just be very careful of what you do get and make sure you get a warranty. So hopefully you've got your first guitar. The other thing you'd want to get is a guitar tuner. Now this particular one is from a company called Snark, and it's what we call just a little headstock tuner. It clips onto the headstock of the guitar like so, and turn it on, you can tune your guitar up. And another one that you can get is a guitar tuner like this. This is a Korg guitar tuner and metronome. Metronome, don't worry so much about that just yet. And this type of tuner will work either by, there's a little microphone in here somewhere, in here, behind here somewhere I think there's a little microphone, or you can plug your guitar, an electric guitar, straight into it. So get yourself a guitar, perhaps a spare set of strings, a handful of different types of guitar picks, different sizes and colours and all different sorts. Your first purchase doesn't really matter whether it's an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar, as long as it's an okay quality guitar. I think that's the most important thing. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is going to be the guitar. Now, hopefully you can see this okay, but the first string on the guitar is actually this one down at the very bottom. Now, it's also what we refer to as the high E string. Okay? Now, if we go through the names of these strings, we have an E string, a B string, a G string, a D string, A, and another E. Now, it's important to know the names of these because at least when you go to tune your guitar, you know what you should be looking for, and that's the pitch, or at least the letter name you're going to be tuning those particular guitar strings to. So, and just remember that the thickest guitar string, the lowest sounding one, is the low E string. It's the 6th string on the guitar. Okay, so hopefully your guitar's in tune. It should sound something like that. Now, a couple of things before we get started. You play the guitar with 4 fingers. Okay, that's your first finger, your second finger, your third finger, and your fourth finger. Now, when we get into these scales, I'll be instructing you on which finger to use. Now, basically, we're going to be sitting around the first couple of frets. We're not going to be doing anything crazy. So if need be, you can tune your guitar to mine, and that's why we have these little tuning keys at the end. You can basically tighten or loosen the string. If you're really not too sure which way to go, loosen the string right off and then slowly tighten it back up. As you get closer to the pitch you're after, slow down on how far you're actually turning that, because you can go too far and snap a string, which you don't want to do. Easily fixed, but also very easily avoidable. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is what we call the G Mixolydian scale. Now, the G Mixolydian scale just sounds like this. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to play the open third string, and what I mean by open is no fretboard hand. Okay, so the open third string. Now we're going to play the A note on the same string using our second finger. B, open B string, C on the first fret, second string, D, third fret, second string, E, open first string, F on the first string, first fret, and G, third fret, first string. Now, these little bits of metal that go that way across the neck of the guitar, they're what we call your frets. Now I'm going to move in a little bit, so hopefully you can see what I'm talking about a little easier. Okay. And another thing to remember too is when you're starting out, you want good posture. You do want to be sitting up straight. And another thing too is keep your hand kind of like that when you play. All right, don't do anything silly and start curving your wrist around and doing silly things like that. So if you watch how I play it, my fingers are generally all pointing up at the roof. And when you can play the scale, no worries at all, without even thinking about it, that's when it's time to start descending through the scale. So we ascend. Now, so we've played our last G, we go back to the F at the first fret. Together. Okay. Now, the whole idea here is, like I said, to at least getting you playing something, getting your hands working together, and I think more importantly, getting you to understand what notes are where. Okay, so where the A note is, where the B note is, things like that. So at least when you go to play with another musician, you should know what you're talking about. You know, the A note, the B note, I'm playing this. It's about communication. You know, if you went to play with a keyboard player, for example, and you said, oh, well, I'm playing 2. 2's not really a note, but A is. Okay, so that was our G Mixolydian scale. Okay, the next scale we're going to be looking at is what we call the D Dorian. Now, all a scale is a letter, so in this case it's going to be D. We're going to start on a D and we're going to finish on a D. Okay, so we're going to play A to A, B to B, you know, whatever the case is. So right now, D Dorian starts on the D string, which is 1, 2, 3, 4th string up. Okay, 4th one from the bottom. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're starting on the D. Now D Dorian is going to be open D, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret, same string. That will give us the E note, 3rd fret on the D string. So far we have D, E, F. Now we change, we go open G, A, 2nd finger. Okay, that's all I'm using there. B, C, and D. Okay, and it's very important you get to know the names of all the notes that you're playing and the open strings, okay? So one more time, open D, E on the same string, F on the same string, open G, A, B, open B, C on the 1st fret, D on the 3rd fret, okay? So D Dorian. And do not be afraid to take your time when you're learning something new. It's really, really worth just spending time, go nice and slow, easy, okay? For a beginner guitarist, you'd want to practice about maybe half an hour a day. I can understand everyone's got different times and different schedules, but about half an hour a day should be sufficient. Okay, so the next scale, a very, very easy one. You need 2 fingers. You're going to need our 2nd finger and our 3rd finger. And this is going to be an A minor scale. Okay, so this is going to be open A. Now B, 2nd fret on the 2nd fret on the A string. Now we'll put our 3rd finger down on the 3rd fret. C, open D, E, F on the D string, open G, and then A. Okay, and that's on, well, it's actually the 2nd note of your Mixolydian scale, but that's the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. So again from the start, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And like I said before, do not be afraid to take your time, okay? I've seen too many beginner guitarists rush, and it doesn't always lead to a good place. Really, really don't be afraid to take your time. Everyone's different, okay? So don't cheat yourself. Take as much time as you need, because that's what's important, you right now. Okay, so perhaps one more. This is going to be a really easy one, all right? E minor pentatonic, and it's also a super common scale. What also makes this one so easy in the first position is every other note is just an open string. So we're going to start off E, low E, it's the lowest, physically the highest string on the guitar, G, 3rd fret, open A string, B on the A string, open D, E on the D string, open G, A on the 3rd string, open B, remember that's 2nd string on the guitar, D on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, open E, high E at least anyway. Okay, so together, when you can play that nice and slowly, cleanly, you want nice clean notes. Another big tip I can give you as well, like I mentioned earlier, the fret wire, sit as close as you can to that. Don't sit all the way back here, sit right up against the one you're trying to get. Okay, don't sit on top of it, you won't get a note. You sit just behind it, you get nice clean notes, okay? So one more time, that'll be E, low E, which is physically the highest one, but it's the lowest sounding one on the guitar. So E, G, 3rd fret, open A, B, 2nd fret on the A string, D, E on the 2nd fret, D string, G, open 3rd, A on the 3rd string, B, D on the 2nd string, open E. Okay? So there's a couple of scales for you, just quickly. G Mixolydian, D Dorian, A minor, E minor pentatonic. Okay, so go back through the video, have a listen to the notes as I was walking you through them, and when you practice, say the notes to yourself. Even if you have to say them in your head, but just say the notes to yourself. A minor is always a good easy one because it's the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Get to know the fretboard. Okay, that's the important part right now. As you progress and start learning chords, it should be a lot easier because you'll know that that's your G note, that's a D note, that's a B note, that's another G. Okay, so like I said, keep your hand correct, not like this, that's bad. Thumb pointing at the roof. Don't squeeze the guitar really hard, you don't have to. I think most importantly of all, have fun and try and practice half an hour a night. I think importantly of all, like I said, have fun.